Alcoa, well, the aluminum producer could get whacked in the short term by low aluminum and steel prices. That's no surprise, but offsetting it, possibly a better demand picture thanks to China. The question is whether the two are going to match up in time to produce a better than expected result. We shall see after the bell on Monday. So, little 3 versus AJ. We've got Chuck Bradford. He's covering the fundamentals. Alex Bernal, our chart man, and Larry Shover in Chicago with the options trade. Guys, great to have you here. So I tell you what, Chuck, let me start with you on the fundamentals. Give us your take on this company.
Well, first of all, it's relatively small in terms of the world aluminum production. China is by far the big factor. It's currently producing at a rate almost 10 times bigger than Alcoa. But the real key is the value of the dollar. As investors would flee the euro into dollars, the price of the commodities fell. And it's not just aluminum, it's also copper, nickel, and all the other metals. And that's the key to this company, is the price of metal.
So it sounds like no matter what the company does, they're really at the mercy of the dollar and markets. I tell you what, let's get a technical take. Alex, give me a sense for this, for your take here. And by the way, this was a stock that was, what, $50 in '07, now it's $8. So do you see any light at the end of the tunnel?
Before I talk about Alcoa's stock chart, I first want to just talk about the aluminum market in general. I was actually looking at the LME stockpile chart, and it showed that the glut of aluminum is sitting pretty close to a 5-year high. So until this market clears or the price goes down even more, I don't see any demand really coming in for, raw material aluminum. As far as Alcoa, I mean, this stock is dead on arrival. It's been in a bear market in the shares for about a year now. It hasn't seen a close above the 200-day moving average since July 2011. So I really have no hope for this stock going forward in the near or mid-near term. There's also very weak relative strength in this stock, and there's a lot of clear downtrend lines that will serve as pretty strong resistance going forward. So, I mean, there's nothing really I could say positive about Alcoa going forward, even, in the short term.
Alex, I'm strapped in, and I'm glad I am. We got 2 bears. I tell you what are you thinking, Larry? I mean, do you have anything nice to say about good old Alcoa?
I do, but I have to just confirm something Alex said. He is absolutely correct that LME stocks are near a 5-year high, but that's not a good way to gauge a stock, nor is it a good way to gauge an industrial metal, because we don't know why these stockpiles are at 5-year highs. It could be very well that smelters are unhedged. They're in financing right now. They might keep that stockpile going for a long time. We see that all the time in zinc, in copper, rolled steel, and in aluminum. So that's not a good way to judge the stock. I'm looking at Alcoa and saying, we think that China is self-contained with aluminum and how much they produce, but the fact is it's highly subsidized. We don't know if that's going to go forward, and the fact is they're still going to use about 640,000 tons more.
All right, Larry, in about 10
basis.
seconds, do you have an options trade that captures everything you've just said?
Sorry about that, Adam. Yes. Buy January 14 $10 calls. You can buy them for $1.08 right now. That would put you at $11.08 a share, break-even point. 560 days of protection on the upside, break-even $11.08.
Interesting. We've got 3 guys who are all relatively bearish, and only 1 trade comes out of it. It's actually a mildly bullish call. All right, gentlemen, we'll all be watching on Monday. Thanks for joining us. Here's the cheat sheet in case you missed it. On the fundamentals, we have Chuck Bradford. He is actually long-term, well, we're not going to call him a bull, but he thinks things might improve slowly. On the technicals, Alex says this thing is dead on arrival, but Larry, ever the optimist out there in the windy city of Chicago, he's actually buying some calls. Interesting.